like to invite Amanda up to the stage to kick us off here.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Yelverton, and this summer, Yuanyuan and I celebrated and enhanced arts education in Duval County. We used a data-centered approach, and we also wanted to make an emphasis on engaging our community. The unsung hero of bringing our students, families, and communities together is our principals. Through their dedication to the arts, we've seen transformational results. Throughout Duval County, to highlight the dedication of our principals, I'd like to share a story about one principal in particular. Principal Davina Parker at Spring Park Elementary School brought the arts and arts integration programs into her classroom. She did this in a pretty unique way. She did this by combining literacy with theater, and through this combination, these stories were able to come to life. I'd now like to share just a few words about Principal Parker. Principal Parker said that she had never seen the students more engaged than within these arts integration programs. She'd never seen them more confident. She also says that she is so happy to reap the benefits of continued community partnerships and her continued partnership with the Cathedral Arts Project. So this photo is extremely important, and what I'd like to note is that this child is enjoying an accessible field trip, right? A free and accessible field trip that was provided this summer to over 2,200 students in Duval County. I'd also like to mention that the student is wearing a beautiful mask. So this summer, students were sent home literacy packets that combined both a reading element and an arts element. These students were then able to wear their masks to the free and accessible field trip that CAP put on this summer to go along with the theme of Unmasked. The Cathedral Arts Project's mission is to inspire every child's creative spirit. They do this by their relentless empowering to advocate for arts and arts equity, and they also promote diversity by encouraging authentic self-expression with all of their students. Through the power of collective impact, CAP nurtures their students and are able to engage the community, partners, policymakers, principals, and many, many more. In 2017, CAP began utilizing the LEAD survey. And what this survey did was it collected information on arts education in Duval County. Fast forward to 2022, FL-DSSG's project with CAP looked at the current state of arts programming in Duval County. They also were able to pinpoint different arts factors that directly contributed to better student outcomes. So through this 2022 project, the free and accessible field trip to over 2,200 students was possible. Looking into CAP and FL-DSSG's continued partnership, the creation of this year's project was possible. And this year we're looking at creating a scoring system while actively giving feedback to each principal. So unfortunately, in the state of Florida, arts education is not recognized as a core academic subject. It is seen as at a degree of lesser importance. This highlights a network of inequities such as educational policies, resource allocation, and the awareness and impact of arts education. Now, why these three main factors are so important is because they have a direct impact on student development. And that's where this project, this 2023 project, came into action. So this year we wanted to stay true to CAP's mission, but we also wanted to explore generating a scoring system for arts education in Duval County. We wanted to do this by highlighting the unique different aspects of our principals and providing feedback to them. We also wanted to keep in mind our intention to expand the awareness of and accessibility to arts education. Okay. So our project combined both public and private data. So the public data used both data from the Florida Department of Education and DCPS websites. Some of the different variables that we looked into within these two were percent of minority students or number of different field trips, right? Whereas when we're looking at our private data, we're using the 4 waves of lead data and the modified lead survey questions. And within these two, the variables we looked at, for example, were different types of governance per se. So with any data-driven projects comes obstacles and challenges, and this project was no different, right? So we first wanted to distinguish the origin of where our data came from. We wanted to get that set in stone. We then wanted to look at the balance between the 4 waves of lead data and the data we had from FDOE. And then lastly, we had to overcome the obstacle of creating a scoring system when faced with limited data availability. I'd now like to invite Yuanyuan to join me on stage. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Good evening. My name is Yuanyuan, and I'm going to start it with our data-driven methodology. So we first merged our lead survey data with the public resource data from Duval County Public Schools and the Florida Department of Education. And then we utilized the feature engineering techniques to handle outliers and the missing data. Subsequently, we selected specific classroom features and defined the classroom memberships using methods like k-means. And also we utilized the other classroom methods as a robust check. And finally, we established this scoring mechanism based on those defined clusters. And we also provide feedbacks back to our principals as a vital component of this methodology. And we applied clustering on all the public schools, which resulted into 3 main groups, as you can see on the slide. So those are elementary schools, middle and high school combined, and the magnet school with an arts focus. And within the elementary school and the combined middle and high school clusters, we further identified 2 subclusters for each, making for a total presentation of 5 distinct groups. It's very important to note that our scoring and evaluation mechanism will vary from one cluster to another. And we come up with the 6-dimension evaluation attributes to help us with our evaluation task. The first one is access. Access is trying to explain the opportunities for students to participate in arts education. And in this dimension, we have 5 variables. The second dimension is funding. This is our financial resources that is allocated to the arts education, and variables like how much money allocated to arts programs and number of funding sources are included in this dimension. The third one is quality. This one is talking about the standards of arts programs, and we have 2 variables falling into this dimension. And the fourth one is the governance. This one highlights the framework, especially the school's leadership structure while they're implementing arts programs. And the fifth one is engagement. This one refers to the collaborations between teachers, students, families, and the broader communities. And variables like number of partnerships and community activities are also included in this dimension. And the last dimension, we call it other dimension. So this one, we included other attributes, which will be included in our data for a thorough analysis. So with the 6-dimension attributes, we come up with this Celebration Arts Index. Recall that we have 5 clusters, and within each clusters, schools will be classified into one of these 4 groups, whether they're going to be blossoming, elevating, achieving, or flourishing. And based on the ranges of the data, these 4 groups reflect the 4 quartiles in each clusters. And it's very important to note here that the ranges of classifying the school into one of these 4 groups will vary from one group to another. This is because we really want to highlight the unique characteristics and needs for each group. And now I'm going to expand a little bit more about our scoring system. As we mentioned that, we're going to evaluate school based on these 6 dimensions on the left-hand side, and then they will be classified into one of these 4 groups. Let's take access as an example. If this school are evaluated in the 4th quartile, they will receive 4 stars in the flourishing group. For the second dimension, if they are in the 2nd quartile, we will give them 2 stars, and they are in the elevating, achieving group. For the third dimension, if they are in the 3rd quartile, we give them 3 stars, and in the elevating group. The same logic, if they are in the 1st quartile, we give them 1 star. And for those schools, if they didn't report any data, we will give them this outlined star, as you can see on the bottom on the left-hand side. And they're still in the blossoming group. However, they will receive fewer points compared to other blossoming members. And finally, we will give them this total art star scores. And this one is to represent their overall performance of their arts education. And this card, we will definitely provide it to our principals. However, we will further provide this star report. So this is a narrative text summarizing the growth, success, and standout points for the school's arts education program. And in addition to that, we will further provide suggestions for improvement, and those suggestions are highly customized based on the school's own data. And I really want to highlight the importance of this feedback system back to our principals in 4 aspects. First one, it focuses on the collective impacts for schools by integrating the school's arts program objectives with the community goals. Second, it addresses CAP's mission statement, which is trying to provide equal access to arts education for all. Third, it also helps to the utilization of the modified lead survey data by linking different data sources together for a comprehensive analysis. The last point, it also highlights this policy advocacy pieces, fostering the policymaking and reshaping from a macro perspective. In terms of solutions and recommendations, our scoring evaluation system, which is actually part of our DSSG product, will play an essential role in terms of tracking the progress of arts education development in Northeast Florida. Meanwhile, the wide collaborations with our stakeholders, the ensuring the equal access to arts education, and the increasing the public awareness of how important arts education really means for our children cannot be emphasized more. And most crucially, this initiative cannot be achieved with our the joint efforts from community and individuals. In this case, we really want to extend this invitation to everybody here today to jointly contribute to this important action. Your participation and contribution can make a significant impact in the lives of our children and our future community. Thank you.